Hello, everyone.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hello. And welcome to another episode of
This is the Circle Podcast.
My name is James.
It is your host, Philip.
my name is Daniel.
Like always, I'm here with my best friends.
All right, so today will be a pretty fun episode.
I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, goodbye.
Goodbye, party people.
See ya.
With that said, welcome back to the Circle Podcast. If you're new here, I'm glad you're here. We're four best friends that started this journey of making a circle, saying some cool shit. Well, not cool shit that bothered us. Shit that we wanted to get off our chest. And now we are here. We made it into a podcast. And before I get to my normal hosts that are always here, I wanted to say hello to Daniel. If you're used to seeing his face from older episodes, he is back.
Wow.
He has returned.
Wow.
He has risen.
Wow.
He is back. It's here at the Circle Podcast. Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you. It's nice being back. Nice visiting you guys. I missed you guys a lot. I saw after you posted that video. I was like, dude, you got me hooked on that video. I was like, oh, snap.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, I was thinking about that video for like 2 or 3 weeks prior. You know, I wanted to come up with a good intro for the video, and then the day before, I think we were talking about you, and I think, I just wanted to strike a chord, and I think I did.
That was,
Dude,
you got me.
Yeah, man. I was smiling so hard when I was watching that video. It was so cool.
That was a really good video.
So well done, too. Like,
yeah.
Not that saying that you couldn't have done a good job. I'm just saying, I was like, holy shit. It's like,
I appreciate that because I always look at stuff that I do, especially when it comes to that. It's like, oh, that's like I always feel like, oh man, this is like the amateur like road. Like I'm going through the amateur steps of doing things, and like I just need to get through this and figure out my way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you guys liked it,
Dude. Yeah,
dude, it's dope.
The ending was so good too. How the audio goes into the
the
logo.
I watched it like 10 times in that moment. I was like, dude, this is sick.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's good having you back.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. I miss you guys.
And then my other two hosts, if they would like to introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is James. I've been here, so no welcome back for me.
And I am Andy.
Yeah, welcome. And if you can't tell, we are in our new studio and also James and Andy's new home.
Yep. Welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
Welcome to our dungeon.
Yeah. You get to see the very first day of it being what it is, and hopefully we just make it grow into something awesome.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of cool shit that we put up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better audio quality will be coming at you soon.
Yeah.
I'm going to filter this place.
Yeah. Yeah, new studio. We have Daniel back. What a good way to like jump into a new studio with having all four of us here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just want to kiss you right now, dude.
Honestly, it was kind of I could not look this far. I could not start when you first mentioned the idea of a podcast.
Well, you're the one that mentioned it. You mentioned starting a podcast, and then I kind of just ran with that.
No, I
That's
mean
true.
I mean running with the idea of the podcast. I think it was I think that was the action right there that was needed. And when we started, especially starting off in your trailer, I was like, dude, I can't believe this. Like, you guys we have mics.
Yeah.
And I never saw this far, into actually having a room where we could sit like this. This is honestly, it feels accomplishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very surreal. You hear people that say just, if you like doing it and you love doing it, just follow it, just do it. Like, it literally brought us here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool to see.
Because honestly, this is normally what we would do anyways.
Yeah.
But we'd go to your place
Just
and
talk,
play Smash,
smoke
some hookah. But we just have some mics hooked up, recording with some cameras, and we're doing the same thing.
Yeah. It's exactly what it is, honestly.
Yeah.
A couple of brewskis.
Yeah, a couple beers.
You gotta crack it in the mic.
ASMR.
Ooh.
Oh, that was pretty good, dude.
Crispy.
Yeah.
Give me a tingle.
Wispy.
Crispy.
All right. I'll start off with asking Daniel. I'm sure everyone wants to know, where have you been?
What the fuck, dude?
I've been in hiding. So when the quarantine first started, honestly, it got the best of all of us. But I decided to use that time to move back with my parents. And so for the past few months, I lived with my parents, and then officially I moved back last week. But it was a good change. I was in a mood where I'm like, excuse my language, I guess this is like, I don't even have to use that word, but I was like, I just wanted to be alone. Just wanted to be alone. Like, everyone leave me alone. Nothing like personal or anything. I just wanted to be alone. I was like fed up with personally, like with everything that I wasn't resolving. And I was like tired of like looking at my phone. I was tired of like, you know, even now I'm just like, I still kind of feel the same way, but I think I've had enough time being alone and reflection that I'm starting to make the changes I want to make. So,
I'll just ask, like, what brought you to that point that like you got fed up with everybody and
just I don't know, because I wasn't happy with myself. I think like I didn't even have I always have this like energy where I'm just like instinctual, not, I don't know if instinctually is the right word, but like I'm always like trying to be positive for other people, but I wasn't being positive with myself. So I'd go out, like, you know, I would go out, like, even if I didn't feel like talking, I would still put the effort and make the effort in trying to talk to people. And then I realized, like, dude, why am I even trying? You know, like, I should just.
Do you think you like ran out of that energy of just like trying to? Yeah,
exactly. And I think what it was a culmination of things. One, the test I was studying for so much, the MCAT, got canceled, and I was like I don't know, that just took it, that kind of crushed me, because I was like, that's a lot of time, and
like gone, like that didn't lead up to the like climax.
Yeah. And I was excited. I was ready to take it, and I spent so much time. And after, like, honestly, the pandemic worked out for me in the beginning. Like, I was like benefiting because like my hours were cut, but I was still getting paid the full amount. I got to go home early. I got to spend more time studying, and then eventually I realized like things start to actually take a turn. And that the issues I've had with my roommate, I think it was him and his kind of, because they were always fighting. So I didn't want to be there anymore. And I didn't know what to do. Like, I was just home all the time, and I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna move back with my parents. And that was kind of a struggle at first, but I learned to move there. Is that picking that up? I don't know.
What is
I think
it?
that's the toilet.
Did Daniel leave, or?
I don't know.
He's probably upstairs hanging out.
Should I just close his door? Or?
Well, it's coming through upstairs. So
It sounds like it's coming from the
I think
ceiling.
I think
the mics might not be picking it up.
Yeah, if anything, I think the door should stay open. It's probably helping the sound not echo so much.
And the air.
And the air.
So like I was saying, there's probably more that push me. But I was just, we've had a couple conversations earlier this year. Like, I've had trouble loving myself, as well as there were things like filling a void. And so I guess that 3 month or like that 2 month period of like not talking to anyone or socializing, just focusing on myself, showed me a lot like how I kind of want to live my life rather than just like going. So I think I answered that.
Dude.
I don't know.
What are there any
just, like,
changes? No, you're good, man. Are there any changes that you're like implementing now or plan to implement after all this time of like reflection?
There are changes. Like, I've been kind of like being more proactive and involving myself in things I haven't like given time to. Like, I've been learning to play the piano. I learned to solve a Rubik's Cube. Finally. I've been writing my thoughts. I also take like maybe like 30 minutes a day to like sit outside and just like watch like outside, just sit outside and do nothing. Like that's what I've been loving at home. Like I've been just like going outside in the backyard and I just like chill there, so those are some like physical changes. But I feel like it feels like a vacation, but really I was like working the whole time, I think cutting out any type of like, I reduced like social media, and that kind of saved me a whole bunch of time. And I'm glad I did, because I'm kind of upset with social media right now, especially with everything that's going on. But yeah, nothing. I kind of had to so after taking the MCAT, or after finding out the MCAT was canceled, I like hit a slump like that next week, and I think that was that slump that pushed me over. I was like I couldn't, like, it was like something I couldn't believe, kind of like you living here, like it's like something like that's it, or graduating, another, I don't know what I saw it on his post. It's like his initials RP. I don't know but he said it. Maybe. He said it well. He said it like he could almost believe it. It's just over, and he was like sitting at home.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, sitting.
Like it's such a lackluster ending.
Yeah,
to all this time.
That's exactly what it felt like. And I'm coming to realize we're gonna have more of those moments in our lives. But that I hit a slump. I literally just like didn't do it. After work, I'd go home and just sleep. Kind of like a temporary depression.
Yeah.
But after that, I started to like change gears, pick up the slack, started to do more hobbies, and then I started to look at plan B instead of med school, because I personally don't think I'm going to get into medical program right away. And I'm hearing people don't get in until like 28. So I'm changing my focus or I want to go straight in, but in addition, I took the role of applying to master programs to be a little more proactive, because quite frankly, I'm done not being in school.
I see.
Like even if going to med school right away is a shortcut, I don't even care. We've talked about it before. I think it's always take the long way out, or the harder way is usually, not like they say, work harder or work smarter, not harder. But sometimes working harder teaches you things that you wouldn't normally or learn.
Like you get more out of it.
Yeah, exactly. More basic principles. But that's kind of how I live my life, and I think that's kind of how I probably will live the rest of my life, is always taking the hard way out, because it's taught me more things into it, or it's taught me more. I've gotten more out of it than working smarter.
Do you feel like unintentionally the pandemic made your life harder, and that's the hard way out?
I thought the pandemic made my life better. Sorry, not to sound insensitive or anything. Well, it's a terrible situation.
I meant because the med school test was canceled, or the MCAT.
Sometimes like a decision or something occurs in your life, and maybe it's like it happened for the best. Because maybe I'm not ready. Maybe there are things I didn't see before that or there are things I didn't realize, and there are things I didn't realize, and there are things that like during the time of the pandemic I realized about myself that I didn't before. One was that I'm done like wasting like time with like particular connections that I don't really care. Like someone will text me like, "How are you doing?" And I don't want to give any small talk. Like I really don't. Like if you guys like texted me, I'll like do my best to like text you, or I'd want to have a conversation with you. But there are people, like, quite frankly, that just like want to have a conversation that you don't want to have a conversation with. And I realize, you know what? I'm gonna be selfish and not talk. Like say, I don't know. Sometimes the easiest things are the hardest things. I don't know. To text someone back, like I can't tolerate small talk anymore.
You know, I think that's good because
Yeah.
for the longest time, Daniel, you are the least selfish person I know. You know, so hearing that, you know, brings a sense of relief because
Yeah.
at some point, yeah, you got to put yourself first. And if you feel like that's something that you don't feel like you need to value anymore, is small talk and trying to keep up with people that aren't really prevalent, I think that's
I mean,
that's a good thing.
I would love to give my time of day to anybody, but like the thing is, it's not always all work, but it's just like stuck in your thoughts, where you don't have like the mental capacity to like. Someone was like texting me about their relationship, and honestly, like I wanted to be there and give you advice, but like I literally like told this person, honestly, I want to give. Let me write a thoughtful message, but that takes time. Like, have you writing a business email or like a professional email? It takes you like an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
I think people underestimate how like how much work goes behind writing an email. But same thing with like text. Like if you like, you guys are always welcome to text me your problems like immediately and I'll answer. Like we're not at the point where like, hey, how are you doing, this or this or this. No, you just tell me, because like if you need me there, I'll be there. That's kind of how it is. But that's what I realized that I should just like save my energy for things I want to focus on, like just being in my thoughts type of thing. So
I think that's a really revolutionary perspective change that you've had, because one thing that I've been understanding these past couple years is that energy is finite. You know, you don't have an unlimited amount of energy. And every little interaction you have, every little thought you have is just depleting your tank, you know? And you have to be very mindful and deliberate with how you want to spend your energy. And no one can shame you for that.
Let's just put it in perspective. Hearing something is energy. Like,
exactly.
Literally, it's just like your brain processing information. Your brain to function, it needs sugar. So,
yeah.
And that's energy right there. No, that I think that took some realization. I think some people are taking it the wrong way, and there's some people who understand. But that is what it is, honestly. Like that's same thing with how I feel. Like I'm done, kind of just, you know, that's it. Like I'm not gonna give you my time. I'm like, why do I even want to text this person? I actually thought of something. I just like, who would I want to be at their wedding? Like that's what I thought. Like who's someone I want to like. I would be so happy to be at your wedding. Like I'd be happy to be at any of your guys' weddings. That's just to state our relationship right now. But there's some people I'm like texting. I'm like, do I really care? Do I really care? I'm like, no.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
that's a very good way.
Because I realized like, dang, well at first I was like, dude, I don't have anyone's like I'm not gonna have many weddings to go to. But I realized actually there's quite a bit of weddings you'd have to go to for the people you care about. Yeah. But there are some extra people. There are people from school, colleagues, that just like text me. I'm like, there's nothing I can share that's gonna mean anything to you. I get you're nice and you're checking it. That makes sense, but there's no need to keep touch. I think I don't know what it is. I have a good understanding with my relationship with people, but I think people are kind of insecure of where they are at. But like I'm always accepting and taking in, kind of but I've reached the point where, you know what, I'm not taking any applications or like for like any new people or
no longer hiring.
Yeah, I'm not looking. I'm at the point where I'm not really looking. I'm gonna have to, of course, like take people into my life if I'm gonna move around, but I feel like that's where I'm at.
I gotta say, man, it's crazy hearing where your thoughts are now. Yeah, I feel like I would never hear that from you if this was a couple months ago.
It kind of makes sense. Now that you're saying this, because I'll be honest with you, dude, I was upset with you. And I'll be honest, and these guys know it, but
we talked about it.
It would upset me when I would see that you would like do Zoom calls with your roommates or your friends from school, and like we can't even get a simple text in the group chat. You know, that bothered me.
Yeah.
But hearing all you say this makes sense. You know, I'm also at the point right now where like I'm tired of social media. I'm tired of the internet. Like I have to like escape. You know, so I get why you did that.
Well, I'm telling you, you can always tell when I'm kind of ashamed when I have a hard time
Well-
giving eye contact to you guys. I don't know. I for sure feel ashamed. I feel ashamed.
shouldn't
Of
feel
a lot of
ashamed,
things.
man.
I think the problem too. I don't know if you guys would agree with me or not, but I think the problem is like I held you to a higher standard than I should have. You know, and that's my fault. You know, I forget that you're a person and you're only human, and I held you way too high, and that's on me. I'm not saying you're a bad person or anything, but that's my fault. I have to remind myself he's human. He has his problems. He's going to go through things and not take it personal.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I took it personal.
It's funny too, because when we were talking about this, like I just figured you were going through something, and I remember sharing that I talked about this with my dad, because he asked like, "Oh, where's Daniel been? Like I haven't heard about him." I'm like, I haven't really heard much from him, and he's like, "Dude, he might be going through like a depression or something," and that just made sense to me. I'm like, he probably is. He might be struggling right now, and that's why there was a couple times where I reached out just to like make sure you're alive or like you're good, you know. But what you're saying, Phil, like, well, like I don't know if I told you, but I've shared this on the podcast. I see a therapist now, and that was one thing that she said. She said, whatever someone does, 99% of the time, it's a reflection of themselves and not you. You know, so like she pretty much was telling me don't take things personal, and I think that's just something to always keep in the back of your head. You know,
Yeah.
because most people aren't trying to hurt you, and that's kind of what I figured. You know, you're going through your own thing, and like I knew it wasn't that you like hated us or like anything like that.
I kind of just wanted to be away from the world. The good thing is about it is that, I did get the time alone that I wanted. And I also got to spend the time with my brother. And it's been a fun few months. And then things started to get, like we started having all these people come over, and like family started to get all involved, and things returned back to the same way. I didn't like it anymore, so that's why I decided to move back to San Diego.
So you are back at your other place?
Yeah, I moved there at the beginning of this week.
Okay.
We just have a lot of like traffic at our house now because my relatives from the Netherlands are here.
Oh, they did.
And like people are always over. Like I was just sitting, like for one example, I was like at my parents' house, and I was literally just trying to sit in the backyard, like for my alone time, just to sit there. And then my cousin came outside and like started talking to me, and I like honestly, there was nothing like nothing personal, but I was like, please leave me alone. So I think that's just kind of been my attitude lately. But I mean,
it's weird, man. I feel like I definitely sympathize with what you say about the pandemic kind of making things better in a way. And I think what's crazy is that going through this quarantine and just seeing how fickle life is, I feel like a lot of us have had a lot of time to reflect through this. And maybe not everyone, but, you know, I know a lot of my family, a lot of my friends, they're just taking this time and they're realizing a lot of things and a lot of battles that they've had internally that are finally coming to light because they have to be in their thoughts so often now. But I think what's powerful about it with what you're sharing is that you take it as a way to make changes that are necessary.
Yeah.
And you make yourself a priority and your mental health a priority and your happiness as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's all you could really do. You know, shit's gonna suck in life, but as long as you learn from something, it wasn't a waste.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure. A lot of pros and cons. A lot of self-reflection. There's a lot of like direct and indirect effects with this pandemic. And it's kind of this is a complicated pandemic for sure, because a lot's like come from it. And a lot of things have been building up, especially with these like with the social justice and just a lot of changes. Personally, on so many levels. Personally, physically, and also just to the public. It's been something that's completely different. So,
What's been bothering you the most about social media? Specifically.
Yeah, I wanted to ask this too.
people are very misinformed, or they're not doing the proper research, or I'm just seeing things out of spite, you know. For example, one good example, and you guys mentioned it in the last podcast, defunding the police. I have not seen one post that gave pros and cons to why defunding the police would be a good idea. I just seen people use it in a way for spite, or, you know, like it's always been like people against the police for some reason. And I just saw defunding like nobody's like using it in a good light or anything like that. The Blackout Tuesday thing, dude, I was fucking pissed. not that, no, I'm all for BLM, all that, but I think a lot of people didn't even know what the purpose behind Blackout Tuesday was. And people were posting like black posts and posting it with Black Lives Matter, and that just
with the
like
hashtag,
hashtag, and that watered down all the social media, and where people were going for a place of insight on where to go for protests or how to protest or how to get involved was just watered down with all these black posts, and it took away from that. I don't know. I woke up more in the morning. I'm like, why are we doing this? Why is everybody doing this? And one, I did not feel compelled to, not that, like I said, I'm all for social justice, but I was not compelled, to be honest, I was not compelled to post a black post, you know. I didn't know why. And I'm pretty sure, you know, a lot of the times, whatever you're thinking, a lot of other people are thinking the same thing.
I'm right there in that boat with you, dude.
And I just see all these people just post this shit, and I don't even know why. And I'm like, honestly, I kind of wanted to ask everyone who posted that, do you really know what that was for? Because I did look it up the same day and what the reason was for, and it was kind of just like to take like it was a blackout, to take a break, especially the big companies profiting from Black lives being involved in whatever they produce, like music. So it was just like kind of like an appreciation, and all the companies that are profiting from such a big African American community, they took it, like out of respect, took a break. And it was supposed to be, I forgot what it was. It was supposed to be Blackout Tuesday and not BLM.
Yeah.
And people were posting BLM. That's just like I don't know. It's really a small thing, but there are things like that piss me off. Or people who would just like falsely like talk about subjects in general without any ethics or without any support, statistical or scholarly articles, nothing like that. People just write things and speak their mind, and they don't even know why they're saying it, and it's frustrating.
But the problem is that people know, or they're entitled to their opinion, even though it's a shit opinion.
Yeah.
And that's what we see a lot of the time on social media.
Yeah. The thing is, it spreads like wildfire. Like if it's a bad idea and there's nothing behind it, other people are going to be like, oh, that's a good idea.
Especially if you see that from a YouTuber or Instagram, what do they call them? Influencer. Like if they have an opinion and they have like so many thousands of followers, like you have a responsibility to not give out misinformation. Yeah. You know? Because you have influence at that point, and you can't just like you can't say the fucking Earth's flat. Like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Let me ask you this: with being able to see all this ignorance and people being able to have this platform, and then even now, so it seems like there's this like counterculture against academia, and like people trying to say, oh, like that universities are like funded by so and so to brainwash you. Like, do you feel like you're giving up hope on like the American public?
No, I haven't given up hope. As much as there are times where I'm like, I want to give up. There's like, the only way forward is to like, it's frustrating, and it definitely takes a level of patience. I can't blame you for like being falsely educated. And I really can't. Like if you're a child of a serial killer and you become a serial killer, I can't blame you. Like that's what you know.
I mean, yeah,
I don't know. If,
I think to like a certain extent.
Relevant.
I think the thing for me is like I get really frustrated because I feel like once you're an adult, you're kind of in charge of your own life.
Yeah.
And I can empathize for like, you know, people who, you know, were brought up without having education or anything like that. But in our country, in our culture, like information is accessible easier now than ever before.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And we're wasting so much.
And I think that's the thing, is that it all comes down to a choice, and people have the choice to see those scholarly articles or to get credible information, and people just choose not to.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you change that? You know, like they say, you could lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink.
Yeah.
I think it's just like our society is based off like, you know, it has to be there and it has to entertain me,
be
now.
easy. Yeah.
And you can see with social media, like the ones that are profiting the most are the social media, and the people that are these influencer YouTubers. They're trying to get you hooked as fast as they can, and then just keep you watching their videos or looking at their posts and liking it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And the news.
You look at like dude, when we read that Harvard thing, that was hard to get through, bro.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It was so hard, and it's like if they took those same implements of like trying to get someone hooked to their paper, you know, and like, you know, their studies, and I think they would have more success, but it's hard.
Yeah.
How do you do that when you're trying to give people like, you know, like facts,
Like
and try to be
dense
entertaining
information?
Yeah, try to be entertaining at the same time.
Yeah, I think the problem now is there's a lot of willful ignorance, which is worse than people who don't know that they're ignorant.
Yeah.
And, and you can see that even when the internet is here. You know what I mean? People who just don't care and don't want to learn.
Like, how do you change that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, one of the platforms I'm upset with the most is probably the news platforms. Because I feel like that would be an easy solution, is using that platform. Everyone watches it. But I feel like the news tends to make you more concerned and actually proactive about taking action.
Yeah, they want to keep you angry.
Yeah, like they could have, like, for example, the news source, my mom watches, I'm like, why are you watching this? And it's only making her scared. Like, it's only making her not want to step outside or anything like that.
Dude, I know I've said this before, but I told my grandma, you know, like, she would give me shit for watching shows, and she would tell me that, you know, it's going to make me stupid. And I see her watching the news. I'm like, Grandma, this shit's going to make you stupid.
Yeah,
like, stop watching this stuff.
Same thing. Like, I think the news could have been like, you know, you saw the petitions going around. Like, I didn't see the news at all, not once. Like, hey, if you're interested in this petition, you could be signing this here, you know. Instead, they're kind of dramatizing certain events, or kind of giving an angle that's not unbiased. So it's they're responsible, I think, for I think they are responsible for falsely informing individuals.
There's a lot of like hypocrisy going on too. Like, remember Colin Kaepernick when he took a knee, right? Took a knee. The right is complaining about, you know, how he's a piece of shit, this and that, and then, you know, the left's just like, hey man, like he's entitled to his free speech, and, you know, like, he can do these things. And then you look at Drew Brees, who recently just gave his opinion on it, and the left demonizes him for it, and the right's like, whoa, what happened to the free speech thing? And then Drew Brees eventually apologized. Like, you know, everyone believes in free speech until it's not what they believe in.
It just sucks with the news, because, like, they don't want change, right? They'll broadcast change, which is all the protests going on, all the rioting, the pandemic, but it won't be to change people's mind. It will just be to make them scared, right? And that's not really how you implement change. It's how you implement, like, an authoritarian change, right?
How you implement fear.
It's not how you implement not a global change, but like just throughout the country, right?
Positive
change,
long-lasting
change. That's not how you do it.
Yeah.
And it's been that way forever.
Yeah.
Guess
Yeah.
what? It's worked. That's why they're still
If you
on.
looked on the news right now, they'd probably be still talking about rioting and looting.
Yeah.
And they won't talk about like the 50,000 people that protested in major
Yeah.
cities and marched down the streets just holding signs and chanting.
Mm-hmm.
They won't talk about that.
I think though is that we could never expect it to change because at the end of the day, just like with everything else, it's driven by profit, it's driven by money, and they're trying to maximize their way to make money. So that's like it's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
They're gonna do whatever they can to draw eyes to their station so they get more ad revenue, and it's like I don't know. All the issues are so interwoven. It's like.
It's very complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel like it will never stop.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't believe that, look at the stock market. The stock market barely dipped when this pandemic started, and it stayed the same, and now it's going back up.
Mm.
Like that just shows one how much of the stock market is full of shit, but how this country is built off capitalism and just like trying to make a quick buck kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's a weird thing about that because I heard an interesting perspective. When I heard that, I was like, "What? Is that true? Did the stock market really not change at all?"
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you see everywhere around you, the businesses are failing, and right, and it's the long-lasting effects of that are years to come. So is it that the stock market was fake, or is it that the pandemic was fake?
Well, the stock market's a complex thing to understand.
I don't know.
It's a
Either, by the
complex.
way.
It's a complex thing to understand because it's driven off like free market investors.
it's all bullshit.
Like at this
It's all
point,
make believe.
at this point, any one of us can hop on, like
Robinhood
join
or-
Robinhood or whatever.
And
Like
own part
I
of
just watched a
anything.
video today that said like 50% of one company that's owned by like Robinhood investors, right? And that they've seen a major spike of investing in penny stocks like within the last week. Like it's for whatever reason right now during the pandemic, it's an easy way to make a quick buck, and that's what people are jumping on.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought about it. I assumed that the stock market would be going down, and
I don't think the stock market truly like reflects like the economy anymore.
That's a good thing that you mentioned because I remember thinking that in the last episode, but I forgot to mention it. Like, what does that mean? The economy, like when they say the economy is hurting, I don't know. I take it as like the wealthy. Honestly, that's how I take it because sure, a lot of people lost their jobs, which is upsetting. But a large amount of people who are on unemployment were making more money on unemployment than before. So obviously it's not income, So what is it? Like, I don't know.
It's a weird street because you have the 1% who owns how much of the wealth of the world or the U.S.
Yeah.
Which is more
Far
than
majority.
the lower income. So it's like,
by definition, it has to be harming them more.
but it's not.
Well, that's exactly
wasn't.
why you see them start to pull back on the rules of businesses starting, and they're allowing businesses to start again.
Yeah.
It's because they realize like money is not being funded anymore. The federal government is not giving them money. So now like money's running out, so they're freaking out and they're letting these restaurants and gyms and other businesses start opening up. It's because they're not going to get that funding anymore.
Yeah, it's a weird
I
thing.
think there's a weird like deep state game going on where they're willing to fucking dispose of the poor just to win this left versus right battle.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't doubt that they would. Any side would sacrifice lives.
Yeah. And I think it's just a long game between the two parties.
And I think that's where long-lasting change starts.
Changing the two-party system.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that and just not knowingly splitting people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's just like that's how you change things, but it's like people have different views, and I understand that. Why does it have to be labeled a political party?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, honestly, I'm probably going to vote for an independent, or I'm just going to put my own name down. Like
I'll fucking put your name
I'm
down.
I'll put your name down.
I'm not fucking voting for fucking either of these
Dude.
two.
I'll put your name down.
I'll put my name down. I don't give a fuck.
You got my vote.
It's
All right.
all
Like,
there's-
how-
yeah.
How do you change things though? You know what I mean? If you have to
Dude,
choose between the lesser of two
what,
evils,
It's what James said, though. It's driven by money. It's driven by profit. There's no way we're going to change it. Like, the country would literally have to collapse for any true change to happen.
I feel like I've gotten to the point where I realize there's maybe one thing that I could change, right? So I'm going to just focus on that one little slice of human existence. You could have it. One little slice of human existence and be in my bubble. You know, I'll do what I can there. I'll contribute to, society how I can there. But it's like the rest, man, let the fucking monkeys play. Like,
I'm on the same page as you. I definitely realized that we could have served the role in this, and it's making me. I don't know. All this has definitely pushed me to vote and contribute, but I have big plans. Big plans for the future. And
like for yourself.
if I could apply it to the public, one, I thought of this has given me a lot of time to think for myself and reevaluate what I want my focus to be. I want to go to school, gain an education, but what am I going to do with that education? And those are paths I started to look into in terms of public health. Definitely the pandemic is a relevant topic in terms of public health. A lot of things I want to change in that. I don't know, like implement certain things that I like right now. Obviously I don't have the power to do that. Yeah. And I'm not going to do anything. There's not much I can do. I'm just going to vote if I can. Vote, or, sign petitions, whatever you need me to do. But
Yeah.
when I have the resources,
That's when you can make bigger change.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I definitely plan to do that. And I haven't lost hope. We as a species, we're getting smarter every day. And so I think there will be one day where we can accomplish, and be on top of for example, things like such as social justice and pandemics. And one day they'll be like nothing to us, because we're going to possess the knowledge and the technology to go about everything. So definitely big plans. But right now, yeah, like you said, there's nothing we can do. We could just watch and let the monkeys handle it.
Yeah.
does us being smarter equate to us making smarter decisions?
Not necessarily. I think
that's a complex question.
What do you mean by smarter decisions?
Or I guess decisions that
Benefit us.
pros outweigh the cons.
I would think so.
But is that smarter decisions for you as an individual, or you as
I
just
guess
a
what I mean by
citizen
that
in
is
society?
I guess,
like for the greater good.
yeah, for the greater good of
I feel
the
like
community.
I would. This is the thing. I used to always think that there is this trend of high intelligence and lack of empathy, and because of how the media portrays mad scientists or how psychopaths are intelligent, right? Stuff like that. But I read an article discussing artificial intelligence where it argues the opposite, that high intelligence normally equates to higher EQ or empathy. And we're evidence of that. Us as a species, generally, we are probably one of the most empathetic species on the planet. We can understand how to put ourselves in other people's shoes. Whereas a dog cannot do that. No matter how friendly a dog is, if there's enough food for one dog and not the other, that dog will say, fuck that dog. I'm going to eat all this food. We have the capability of saying, you know what, let's split it. Let's ration it. Let's try to get out of this thing together, whatever the situation is. I don't know what's right, but I would hope that's what it is,
Yeah, I feel that's what that's gonna be. Just looking over the past, I think the evolution of the internet and that coming to life has definitely made us less inclined to go to war with people. or I think that's had an involvement with that. More people are for peace. You know, look at look at social media. Everyone, I think a lot of people are upset with the looters, and a lot of people are upset that like you taking advantage of what was a peaceful protest to criminalize things. Those were the people who were very, I don't know what was going in their head, but it's not because they're stupid or anything. It's just they don't have a proper perspective of things. They're probably taking anger out, whatever it was. It could have been a culmination of things, you know, especially being locked up from the pandemic.
Yeah.
I think people were outraged and they just wanted to go
something
batshit crazy.
And that's another thing. There is a correlation between crime and lack of education. You know,
there's also studies about criminal activity and the lack of having a father figure in your life.
Yeah,
I'm sure some people know where I'm going with that, but
just to backpedal. The reason I asked that is because do you think intelligence is linear? Do you think that
what do you mean by that?
We've gotten smarter
in a
as
linear,
a civilization in a linear
I don't think
fashion?
so.
no.
I think aren't the Egyptians like a sign for that? Like a good example?
Yeah.
Because before, like, the Egyptians wasn't like linear. Then for some reason, the Egyptians just spiked in intelligence. Like they put in like aqueducts and the building structures that they have.
I think it's
architecture and art.
All
Like
that. We don't know. We still don't know.
How it
pyramids
came
and all
about,
that.
and then they just like flatlined.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would describe the curve. I wouldn't say linear. I'm closer to saying exponential. Just because once you lay out all the tools, once you lay out a good foundation, and like things like start to take jumps, you know.
It's definitely not consistent.
Not consistent. Yeah, that's why
But,
I wouldn't even say exponential. But yeah, just like for example,
just the last 100 years, man. How much shit has changed.
My brother's.
Well, fuck, you think of 2010 that now, like that's a major difference.
Yeah.
My brother was telling me, me and my brother have been getting like into a lot of theories like teleportation and the black hole and space-time travel, and I don't know. I took the time to try to thoroughly investigate some of these things. But my brother's watching a podcast. I think it was also with JRE. But they built, I don't know, I think he was an archaeologist or something. I'll have to get his name. But they were talking about the construction of the pyramids. And there are these like in the pyramids, there is like these beams that are like floating in the air. Like they're hanging from the top. I don't know. They're like perfectly placed. And the weight of these beams are like 30 trucks. Or maybe more. I don't know if it was 30 or 3,000. I don't know. 30 trucks stacked up upon each other. And the height of these beams, like no one could like lift it up, you know, no one could, and like to have a crane to do it, it would have to like stretch over, with like the physics and all the crane would have to stretch over like 6-7 football fields. To place these beams. And we're like, how did they do that? Like how
even engineers today can't give you a solid explanation of how they did it.
And
there's some cobblestone or limestone in there that is cut with a laser precision.
Yes.
And modern technology can't do that.
I don't know. It blows my mind. I think people need to understand or how to define intelligence.
Yeah, that
because I think a lot of people are like, oh, you're smart. I'm like, I don't know what you mean by that.
Because you have us right in one palm, computers, internet, everything, technology, and then you have the Egyptians who built the pyramids. Like, what would you say is smarter or more intelligent? Or more intelligent?
Yeah, can you say they're smarter than us because we can't explain what they did?
Yeah.
I think intelligence, I would define intelligence as in a behavioral perspective, how you are able to utilize your abilities, because and
Problem solving.
intelligence varies between, like, a dog can be way more intelligent than us in terms of smelling. They could smell long distances, and we can't do that. Or like hawks, they could see long distances, and we can't do that, you know. But we do have a set of abilities that other species don't possess.
Because I guess you can define our intelligence is being able to, I guess, just understand and come up with definitions of things.
Yeah, I'd say that's one of it.
You know what I mean? Like, we're able to, I guess, self-reflect in a way, understand why things work, why they don't work.
I honestly think for us it's just problem solving, man. I think that's what it comes down to, because we see something and we think about it critically and how to manipulate it or to fix it. Every other animal, for the most part, is just like, that's how. Like,
it's not a problem.
Yeah.
They don't realize.
And I think that's a good explanation for the, that what you said, that comparison of us today and the Egyptians. There's a difference between here's a manual, build this, versus no one's ever done this before, figure it out. Yeah. Like,
Definitely.
there's a huge difference in that.
It's what you're given with.
Mm-hmm. And I think the fact that they were to build what they built without technology speaks to their problem solving, like, because that problem right there, how do you lift a beam that weighs this much? That's the problem, and they fucking solved it.
And we were intelligent in different ways. Like, they weren't able to construct a nuke back then. I don't know if there are comparisons, but like now I don't know if there's like one is more than the other, but there are things that are clearly not resolved or understood just yet. And I wouldn't go as far as saying they were more intelligent than us, but they definitely knew. They definitely have had an approach, a different approach than we did on certain things.
Here's a question for you. Do you think when they were building these things that either they thought that like, it'll be passed down, they'll know how we built this, or was it like maybe like a secret, like let's not tell anybody how we built this, or was it something that they'd even like think about,
That's what blows my mind.
Yeah.
That's like something you would ideally want to pass down.
I would think there would be some type of transcription explaining like
Or some-
that process, because how many years was it built?
Well, so you could like pass the Bible down, but you can't.
Yeah, pass instructions down.
I think the one problem too. I've been reading this book that is supposed to like teach you 365 different things all in the day of a year, right? Or I'm sorry, one day you learn something new, right?
Okay.
And I learned about hieroglyphs, and hieroglyphs were extremely hard to understand,
complex.
Like scientists like couldn't figure it out for the longest time, and they believe that that's where the first alphabet came from, was from the Egyptians, because the hieroglyphs were so hard to read. Even like Egyptians back then didn't know all of I think there's like 10,000 different symbols in hieroglyphs, and not even an Egyptian back then would know all of it. So that's where they think the first alphabet came from, was from the Egyptians, because when they would conquer a new land, the slaves that they would get, they wouldn't understand what they were reading, right? So they came up with the first alphabet. So I think like over so many thousands of years, like those hieroglyphs of whatever instructions may have been left just fucking disappeared, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's like, even if you get it, you probably ain't going to understand it, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it makes sense. It makes sense why.
The other question is like, why did they truly make those things? They made something that's survived like the test of time, and they're still surviving.
It's tombs, right, for like the pharaohs or like the royalty.
Yeah. So right now, I don't.
Come on, bro. Do we really believe that?
I'm not sure. That's what it's been said.
That's what
They
been said.
They say that that they made the pyramids in 25 years, or each one took the span of 25 years.
That's
really,
Yeah,
That's pretty fast.
That's
I
fast.
think so. I think
pretty
that's what it
fast.
was.
dude. There's cathedrals that took longer than that, like
That's
10
pretty
times
fast.
longer than that.
I think it was 25 years.
I don't know. There's so many like details in it too, like how they're aligned under
With
particular
constellations or with stars.
Yeah, particular stars. I don't know, man. I
think what's funny is that we've learned from that though, because a big thing of like engineering or like software engineering is documentation. Like you literally spend half the time on a project on documenting what the project is, defining terms, explaining how it's being built.
Same thing with our experiments. Like we got to make sure we track down everything, you know, just like not even for like insight into like maybe enhancing an experiment, but like to track down what went wrong, you know, where did I go wrong, and see if you made a mistake on your calculation or something.
Yeah.
You would think that
They would do that too, yeah. But it could be what Phil's saying, that maybe they did and we just don't know. We don't
understand
know
it.
Yeah,
Understand it.
we lost the ability to read it.
People like to, I think also, I don't know, a lot of people have like taken it for granted because like a lot of people like to allocate ideas to something. Oh, that was just there, you know, or kind of like along with the idea that people allocate what they don't know. Oh, it's got to be God, you know,
Or
kinda,
aliens.
or aliens, you know, kind of like the same thing with the pyramids.
Bro, I'm right there. The aliens did that shit.
You know what?
Until you prove to me that they didn't, like
I
believe
kinda
that
wanna-
the Egyptians did.
I kind of want to believe into it. I kind of want that because, you know, after seeing that CNN post, that blew my mind. I was like,
What post?
about the UFO, like there are unidentified flying. I never.
Oh, the military
I
declassified.
never followed that through. Was that true?
That's
Was that?
came from
It's
the
true.
military.
Yeah,
The
it came
military
from the U.S. Air
declassified.
Force.
But you got to remember, UFO means they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it was
when
doing
you-
some questionable
Unidentified-
things.
When you see something drop from like 10,000 feet to like 80 feet in the split second,
Yeah,
the Russians are up to something.
Alien
apparently.
alien doesn't necessarily mean that figure with the big head. It's just extraterrestrial.
Well, that would mean not from this planet.
Not from this
right?
planet. Yeah, exactly. That's not. There's no.
What they're saying is they're not saying it's an alien.
Extraterrestrial.
They're
just
just
saying
saying that they
unidentified.
don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, unidentified. Yeah, we don't know if they're humans or whatever it is. It's just
It's-
something identified.
It's North Korea, bro. They can't get a nuke off right, but they have these
They
fucking
can't
planes.
feed their country, but they got fucking
Yeah.
world class aviation technology.
I don't know. I think it's ridiculous that they released this footage and they're like, yeah, we don't know what the fuck it is.
Dude, they released
And-
it. Impeccable timing. Impeccable.
Yeah, what was the purpose of that?
It was declassified from the Pentagon because it came back out in like, I think in 2017, the Air Force pilots came out with their story. And I think the videos were leaked then.
Yeah,
But then
I've
that
seen
shit got
video.
shut down. But it got declassified from the Pentagon.
Yeah.
And for the reason for that is they can only keep a case classified for so long, depending on like how major of a.
Is that by law or is that by?
I think it is, yeah.
okay.
So everything must be declassified at some
That's
point.
At some point, yeah.
Huh.
That's why you hear about like
How the CIA
Operation
oh.
Paperclip or MK Ultra. You
MK
know, like
Ultra.
you see shit like that.
Yeah.
It's because it has to be declassified, and depending on how major it is, they can keep classifying as a higher tier of classification. But yeah, it's ridiculous. They released that video, and they're like, the U.S. Air Force is like, yeah, we don't know what the fuck it is, and no one made a big deal about it. Like it was there
It was
for
like
a
for a
minute, and then
day,
it got
yeah.
faded away.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I'm sitting and waiting, and I'm just listening. I'm just letting it come in until I don't know. We can do something with this information.
Remember when they shot that rocket off the coast and
Yeah.
it let out that ring? And
Oh,
they said it
yeah.
was a missile they were testing.
Yeah.
You think I'm fucking stupid? That ain't a missile. What the fuck is that?
Dude,
I don't know.
if I didn't
I don't know half
go,
the shit that goes on
if I wasn't going the route I was
in my
going,
own city.
yeah, if I wasn't going the route I'm going now, I would definitely consider going into like physics and stuff like that.
Dude,
So-
I feel like in another life, same.
That thing, it just all blows my mind. We've always talked about like things like that, like
Yeah.
other planets or space. Or,
Dude, I'm excited for NASA and SpaceX.
I'm excited too.
I really am because at the beginning of this year, I believe it was that NASA came out with their 25-year plan for space travel. How they wanted to send space stations out further and further so they can basically bunny hop in space. Like, dude, why didn't we think of this sooner? But now that SpaceX has proven that they can do what they can do, I'm so fucking excited. We don't got to pay the Russians like $70 million to send an astronaut to space.
Dude, I might say something a little controversial, but I'm not too convinced on human space travel. I feel like it's a waste of money. I feel like we're better off sending robots. Like,
But see, that's what I'm excited about SpaceX for, you know, because it's just like, you know, these investors are investing in this company and they're just like, yeah, send some rockets, fuck up a million times and get the rocket right. And SpaceX is like, we're going to do it.
I guess I want to keep the human touch.
And it's because
I think that's what it is. I think it's that we want to still conquer things. And space is the next thing for humans to drive a stake in and say, we've done this, we've been here, we explored the unknown. Yeah, you know.
I mean, I would say that for like Elon Musk. You know how he wants to get to Mars. Like I think he wants to be that guy to say he went to Mars. But I think
you got people.
The scientists in NASA, like they truly want to like get further out there and discover more.
I bet, but that's the thing. What would be more effective, sending people or sending robots that don't require, you know?
I would say robots because they were doing that, right?
Yeah, they've been doing that on Mars.
I mean, we also haven't really. The thing is, we also haven't really gone to that state or that stage where we could fully rely on robots. Just like, you know, same thing with like the medical field. Like right now, they need people who actually have like minds to be there to facilitate things if something went wrong or something malfunctioned with technology.
That's true.
So definitely what we would need, I think that's a advantage of having a human there. But I mean, eventually once AI is like a thing,
talk about exponential, you know, growth and intelligence, and that's fucking made.
That's already being processed.
Send me to Jupiter, baby. I'm ready.
Send me to Jupiter. Do you think in our lifetime we'll discover alien life? Does that mean?
I think so.
We'll discover, or they'll come here.
Either one.
I think I think so.
You think so?
I think it'll be more off. They'll come here and maybe.
You think so?
Make their presence known.
I'd like to say no.
I think I'm with you. I feel like it's not going to happen in our lifetime.
I think they can see like what's going on here and they're not ready. You know, I think they realize that we're still monkeys and they're like, yeah, it ain't
I think
happening.
that space is just really fucking big.
Yeah.
And no one's going to get out here. No one's going to find us. We're out in the fucking boonies, bro.
You know, when we say fucking light years, people don't realize it took that many years to get to us. And by the time we see something again, that's how fucking old it is. That's why we'll never see the end of space. It's because space is expanding faster than light can travel. And people don't fucking realize that. When I like finally understood that, I'm like, yeah, I don't know how the fuck we're going to do that. Like,
we don't live long enough.
It's too big.
We're never going to thoroughly investigate space.
You might be going the wrong way.
You could be going the opposite way of the next fucking neighborhood, you know? That's why the first solution, we got to extend our life, baby. We got to hit 1,000 years.
Definitely once space travel is created, I think we'll be considered. I mean, if we could manage to live in space, then we'll be an immortal species, which is even crazier.
Yeah. Be a fucking tardigrade or whatever. Those little fucking organisms and...
The sea bears, or what is that what they call them? Sea bears?
Dude, imagine though if we did have robots and something like Alien Covenant occurred.
Oh my god!
And that guy just like takes over and like
beautiful.
Dips out. He just takes our spaceship and leaves. Hey, you guys, you messed up big time.
That and Interstellar, I would always put on and fucking watch it. I fucking love that movie. But
dude, Interstellar was great.
I don't know, because when they say light years, like.
It's huge, dude.
Well, not only that, but
it's
no
huge.
Fucking distance.
No time exists.
3 times 10 to the power of 8.
No time exists when you're going to the power of that. So will you age?
If you're traveling at light speed, that's the thing. I think theoretically you wouldn't. Theoretically, for you, time would be at a standstill, but that goes against the laws of physics that matter can travel at that speed.
Yeah.
There are things that we still don't know yet. My brother pointed it out that we're still pioneering like quantum physics or
quantum computing.
This
whole other plane of existence.
Like for example,
plane of
we were talking about a black hole and like, you know, conservation energy, what goes in comes out, but in a black hole nothing like all rules of physics are, I don't know, we were talking about, I think the rules of physics there are laws that we have
Don't
like
understand.
Yeah.
established that are broken with the black hole.
I think one thing real quick crazy about the light year thing. Would it be worth it? Like, let's say you travel 27 light years, right? How does that translate?
Because are you talking about with the people that aren't traveling at light speed would age 27 years?
Yeah.
Like what if you traveled and then like you just find out all humanity is
That's
dead?
what I mean. That it's gone extinct and
Yeah.
you have nothing to go back to.
Yeah, like what'd you do this for? To
It has
pioneer
gone through its
space and
next
like
extinction
figure out what's
period.
going on?
'Cause it
What
almost-
does it matter?
yeah,
Everything's gone now.
It almost
I-
seems the opposite. So you have gravity that bends space time, and that causes time dilation.
Yeah.
And then you have the complete opposite of something that doesn't weigh anything,
That has no mass.
no mass, and it still
Changing
changes time.
I think it is aging, but at a slower rate.
Yeah. Well, it also, I think, I don't know. It also proves the thing that time is its own dimension. In a way.
Dude, I think this is making me, I don't know why this is getting me so fucking hyped right now. Like, I think what's crazy about it is just we forget that we've made up time.
Mhm.
Like, time is not a real thing.
It's just a way for us to keep track or
It's
keep
literally-
organized.
Yeah, and it's only comparison. That's all it is. It's comparison of day versus night, of this spot around the sun versus this spot
what
around
you
the
saw
sun.
in this moment compared to
To
this
that moment.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is that with that being said, time can only rely on mass, right? Because how can you compare something that is massless, that is not
matter,
that is
yeah.
How do you compare that? Like,
I think it's not. I think
It's just-
we've closed our minds to see time as one thing.
yes, and I feel like we don't see the bigger picture.
There's more. I think we made time to make things easier for us to understand, but it's still that cookie cutter tool that we use. There are probably there's definitely bigger mechanisms in play in terms
Yeah.
of they just call it time, but I don't even know if that's the real term.
That's the
or
thing,
what it
though.
would
It's
be.
like time. Can time be really considered a dimension, though? I think that's the thing.
Yeah,
Because to the rest of the universe, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's not really a thing.
people just took it for what it was. Yeah.
Like, we take it as like a law, as something that physically has an effect, but we know it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because how else would we measure time if it weren't for age and aging?
That's what I mean. There's nothing to measure.
Yeah.
There's nothing really to measure.
Because aging aging
Time is
have
just
to
a
do
name.
with time.
Time. I think
Or
time
is that
is
a
just a
disease?
name.
That's a good fucking question. I would
what'd
put
you
my
ask?
money on disease.
Is aging? Damn, what the fuck did I ask?
Like, is aging a measurement of time, or is it
a
just like a
disease?
disease, and it's just a comparison of health?
Mhm.
I would argue it's a disease. It's a comparison of health. It's that you're disintegrating, or
You're on your chromosomes. Like every time, like as you age, your telomeres like shorten, and like your chromosomes start to lose its like genetic
like integrity.
Yeah, exactly. And
'Cause
then that's why like functions start
man.
to.
Because if you travel light speed, no time is passing. Would you then age if you were continuous in light speed
Like forever.
forever?
I don't know. See, that's what kind of doesn't make sense, and that's where I can understand that time is relative. Because if time is a standstill, and time is a comparison, if time were to stop, like, would your blood flow? Would your cells continue to divide?
That's the thing.
Would
yeah.
you continue to digest? Or is it just a new? I don't know.
This is way out of my pay grade.
Because
it's
ti-
complex. Yeah.
Is it that time exists on its own, or is it because of abandoned space time? Right? Because if you were to float in the middle of nowhere, would it
Of nothing.
of nothing? Right? Theoretically, you wouldn't, because
There
there's
would be no time.
Maybe.
Yeah,
You
but
wouldn't-
I think-
you're saying
you
time.
wouldn't age?
There's time because there's reference.
But that's the issue, though. I think
But
that
is it
there's
because of that?
I think there will always be reference with existence because we are constantly changing, and by that we are constantly having a point of comparison. There has to be change for time, right? And
Yeah, to be
and the
considered
issues
time.
that we change. If we were to never change, if we were to stay in a solid state, then there would be no time, right?
Yeah, there would be nothing to compare to.
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah. It's honestly, it's just. I think it's just simpler terms.
What if it's just like an evolutionary factor?
I think that's what.
What
I
do you
think.
mean?
Because if you look at crocodiles,
Mm-hmm.
right? They die, but they haven't changed for 300 million or however
Yeah,
long.
Yeah.
those motherfuckers are the same.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know, man. I don't know either. Fucking know.
The
But
sum of the last 2 minutes, all questions,
man.
no answers.
no answers, bro. I think, and this is the thing, man. I wonder, like, what do I want to spend my life doing? What problem do I want to
wanna
spend
solve?
my life trying to solve? And I always go back to this. It's aging. It's beginning and end, life, or like life and death, you know? It's still just so hard to wrap my mind around how our existence knows only beginning and end. Yet we live in an environment that is supposedly endless. The universe is supposedly endless. Like, for whatever reason, that like comparison makes no sense to me, or like, I don't know. It seems like an
There's for sure. There's
an oxymoron.
I think with one mindset, like our understanding of time now can be contradicting, and like backpedaling us from what we should try to understand about time. Like I think it's
like the reality.
Yeah,
of,
like for example, it's people's like they've gotten used to how time is now, so they can't see or understand or comprehend anything outside of what we know as time. I don't know. I tried talking about space travel and like time traveling to somebody, and they just couldn't comprehend. If I went at light speed 6 months out and back, and he didn't think it was possible, because I was like, well, one, the argument was that it's possible, which is already in my favor, resolved, because I mean, no one, if we were like, I mean, 10 years ago, no one would have thought we had like phones or anything like, or maybe longer. I mean, even past that.
Here's a quick question for you before I lose it. You've learned about like limits and calculus, right? So there's this idea of limits, and what that means is you can get infinitely close to something.
Yeah, but
right?
never touch.
But never touch it.
Never touch.
But you could get so infinitely close that it doesn't really matter, right? Because, you know, let's say for instance, I could never touch this wall, but if I could get like 99.99999, like infinite 9% close to the wall, it doesn't matter. I'm practically touching it, right?
Yeah.
What about light speed? Like, sure, we cannot travel at light speed,
but we can get
Can
close
we get
to it.
infinitely close to it where it does not matter?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe we can accomplish going at light speed because it's the fastest thing. But what if we were to travel like maybe
99.999%?
Yeah,
At the fastest human speed?
Because let's start with the basics. Okay, we broke the sound barrier, which is at like 300.
That's it?
Sound barrier is very small. Like when people say like, oh, it breaks the sound barrier. But no, it's like a fraction of what light speed is.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, what if we were to go
kilometers or miles? I feel like it's
I don't know if
faster than
it's-
300 miles per hour.
300
thousands.
Let me look this up real
No,
quick.
Yeah,
not
what
thousands.
is the sound barrier? I think
like
it's pretty
seven-
fast because I know
7, 8.
commercial airlines don't break the sound barrier.
I think Daniel's right.
I thought it was 7 or 8.
It's 761 miles per hour.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
So,
How many kilometers per second or per
1,000 or 1,200
kilometers
per hour.
per hour? Okay.
Yeah,
X miles is longer than
yeah.
kilometer.
So I don't remember where I read 300.
Dude, that's insane.
But still,
That's like nothing compared to light speed.
yeah, because light speed that's only 10 to the third. Light speed is 10 to the 8th. So
Yeah.
that's
Really fucking fast.
that's really fast. So
Yeah, what was it? The Blackbird, the first jet to do that?
To break the sound barrier.
what? Yeah,
I think it was.
so.
let's start at like what that bird what is it what's that plane that Elon Musk?
Oh,
is that one?
Is it the
Something.
A12?
No.
That is fucking
The
X-A-E
X-Men
A12.
the X-Men
The
looking
X-Men plane. Yeah. That is the
Why can't I
A12.
remember it?
That is the A12.
okay.
Yeah.
My thing, I was thinking about sound like a couple days ago because I saw a firework go off and it was fairly close,
Mm.
and that shit took the sound took quite a while to get to me,
Mm.
and then I was like, and I was just thinking about like just regular sounds like that. Sorry,
Instant.
like talking. If that's hitting, I don't know. To think that sound travels at 700 and what? miles per hour?
700. Yeah,
Isn't that weird that that's
Like how
consistent too?
how does it not affect our ears, or how does that not affect anything? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because that's fast, obviously, right?
I think it's because what's being thrown at us is like air molecules. So like
Like that's what I'm saying. But
like
even
because
that,
if I throw a
doesn't-
cotton ball at you, like if I throw it at 1,000 miles per hour, it's not gonna
Really?
fuck you up.
Mm.
I think it has to do with density in terms of that. Like
I don't
things
know.
that harm you.
'Cause
Mm.
if I think about
I don't
anything
know.
traveling at 700 miles per hour hitting me, I would assume it'd fuck me up.
I think it would have to do with the mass.
That's what I would
Yeah.
think.
Well, what if you
sounds
sent-
just vibration, right?
Yeah, but vibration. Yeah.
Does it have to do with the mass? Because what if you send a needle at me at 700 miles per hour
Oh, then
that weighs the same as a cotton
Mm.
ball?
I mean, I think that's enough mass to fuck you. I mean,
But it's because of the point.
Is it maybe because of how dense it is? Because a cotton ball would float. Would a needle float?
maybe it would be fast enough to puncture. Yeah,
But-
well, it
but
would
that's-
puncture you.
But that's a
oh,
weird.
dude, that's going.
Yeah,
in
that's
you.
going in you.
that's another. Speed. That's weird because if you have like a dull sword, right, and you try to poke it, like the speed would make a difference,
Mhm.
right?
There's
know.
aerodynamic. I don't know.
I don't know, but like. This is another thing. Knives kind of blow my mind. Like, what is that? If you're cutting something, does that mean you're splitting molecules?
You're splitting like for example, skin cells. Like you're breaking like connections.
It's
You're-
weird how sharpness, like it's something's sharp enough to like break.
It's
a
weird
connection.
too because you've always, we've been told in science class that we can never really touch anything, right? 'cause
It's
of
just
the repel of the electrons.
of the electrons. Yeah,
So how are knives cutting things?
yeah.
There's someone.
Well,
listening to
because
this
like
be
they're
you all are stupid.
well because we're
Listen, I'm not a physicist. Okay.
yeah,
Let us know.
we're in an area where I don't even know exactly what happens when a knife punctures your skin, but we're multicellular. Like our skin is like many layers of cells. It's crazy. It's like, for example, nanobots. Like that's like the good way to put it. A good example. They can come together to make a big structure. That's what our cells are essentially.
Right. Which is another weird thing.
You were when we were in the line at IKEA. You were asking us. You were telling us those riddles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good.
Critical thinking.
Oh no, it's a good. How do I call it? I guess metaphor for science, because
It's all about asking the right questions.
yes, I feel like we don't know what the questions to ask, right? It's always asking questions, and then those questions got me to these questions, and I think that's such a perfect metaphor for what
Science
we need to
is-
do. Is we need to start, like, obviously asking the right questions.
Yeah.
But we need to start asking the questions that lead us to those.
to
could
the answers
possibly-
that matter.
Yeah.
I think people like to jump.
I didn't think of that.
People like to jump the gun though. Like for example, someone's gonna just try to figure out how to travel at the speed of light, but let's first like travel 1/10.
That's the thing. Like people want that. Like you said, jump the gun. Like, okay, how are we gonna travel speed of light?
And they're not
But
gonna
maybe
ask any right
that's
questions.
not the right question. You know what I mean? The right question is how do we travel 25% the speed of light?
Or the other problem might be there's like you're asking a question to get to a certain point that you're probably not going to solve, but you can like you said, like figure out the problem, like it's someone else closer. Like you probably won't reach that in your lifetime, but someone will by you doing the work.
Well, I think another thing too, what I've realized is whenever you're problem solving, you have to boil down to the one hurdle, right? There's always some type of hurdle to it. So when you're saying like, how do we travel to the speed of light? You could think, okay, that goes down to propulsion, right? How do we propel ourselves forward fast infinitely, right? And then we ask, is that the right thing to solve? Is it propulsion? Or is there some other method of travel that we have not yet thought of?
Bro, if you move that fast, I want to know how you stop.
Yeah.
Or navigate.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, how do you direct?
How the fuck do you stop in space where there's no gravity? You know, what are you gonna reverse that speed and then just like hope you land where you want to go?
Throw the engine on the front, bro.
You back and forward thrusters.
Maybe that could be this problem or the answer. If you propel yourself at a light speed, will you then continue to be light speed forever?
It depends.
Because
No, everything slows down with a lot. Well, I don't know about space shit.
The thing is, there's no.
You don't have
there's
terminal
we're in a
velocity.
vacuum.
There's no
Vacuum.
resistance.
Yeah.
There's no friction. But the issue that we have with propulsion is the amount. A lot of it comes down to fuel efficiency, right? Because the fuel that we have now, it would be too much fuel to get to those types of speeds.
We haven't officially like been able to like. I don't know. There's a lot of things that go into it too, like cost effectiveness and.
Yeah, I think you would travel. You would stay at light speed unless you were to hit something.
You would need some alternative You would need an alternative force,
or you were to get extremely close to something. I think.
But even if you hit something, wouldn't you just blow that shit up?
Yeah,
Going that fast, no matter what size you are,
probably
you might be dead too.
It.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you disintegrate yourself too.
Yeesh.
Weird. How'd we get here?
Yeah,
I don't know.
But it's never to narrow. The only way you get to the right questions is by asking questions to begin with.
Yeah.
You narrow. It's that's everything in science. Like, all right, how do I get to this?
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna try this now, and then it's just all these different scenarios until you get a good collective of all of it.
I think that's why riddles are so appealing.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Why
I mean?
what?
Riddles are so appealing.
It's like it's a way to mirror problem solving. Yeah.
That's why I like them anyway, but, you know.
Yeah. I found this new show on Netflix. I'm changing the subject here. Like I said, above my pay grade.
Yeah, this is too much for me.
I found this new show on Netflix. Tell me if you guys have seen it. It's called Freud.
I've seen it on Netflix, but I haven't seen it.
It's about Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis.
Shit.
Fucking great show. You guys should watch it.
Is it
But,
like
it's kind of
a
like,
show? Is it like a documentary show?
No, it's a show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's about like the time when he first is a doctor and he's like dabbling into the world of psychoanalysis, right? And he's like practicing hypnosis. It's a really great show.
Freud.
But
Let's check that out.
by the end of it, you know, he realizes that what we know now is that there's a part of us that's locked away. Like this is something I believe too, and this is why this show really stuck with me. Is that like there's a part of us that's locked away that's kind of like the monsters in us, right? We don't allow it out, and if we do, like who knows what could happen. And the show does a really great job of like showing that. But I was thinking about this today when I took my grandmother to the fucking, I think we dropped the dog off to get a haircut or whatever, right? I was thinking, like, you know, we have that, if that's true, right? If we have this monster that's locked away in us, do we need, like, when we feel like, you know, when we're in a mood and we can't describe, like, why we're in that mood or something's bothering us and we don't know what it is, do you think we need, like, a healthy balance between letting that monster out and still, like, you know, we need a healthy balance of allowing both parts of us to be exposed, you know?
Kind of like the good and evil.
Yeah, like at a certain level, like we need to allow that monster out sometimes to just, you know, stay sane. And, you know, sometimes like we allow things to get boiled up and locked inside. And at some point, like, you know, you fucking, I don't know. you see a kid and you're just like, God, I wish I could punch that fucking kid. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
Wish I could punt that baby.
You bottle shit up, and then there's that one thing that just makes you snap, you know. And then next thing you know, you're saying shit that you shouldn't be saying, and you look like an asshole. Like, do you think we need like a healthy balance? Like, I'm not saying day to day, but like maybe like throughout a week.
Yeah,
Are you suggesting that we purge?
I mean, no, because that takes too long to get to purge day. You know what I mean? I'm saying like
looting
more annually. Like, you know, sometimes maybe you do need the like, you know, like that's why you maybe see like martial artists like do what they do, and they're humble, you know, because they, you know, the jiu-jitsu artists, they choke someone out in practice. You see kickboxers hitting the bag, you know, like they're allowing that monster in them to come out, and you know.
I think the answer depends on how you define monster. Like, is it just aggression, or is it violence, or is it?
I've been seeing it as aggression from what you've been saying.
Yeah,
that's how I comprehended it. It's just aggression, letting out some type of aggression.
Like anger.
Yeah.
Allowing yourself to
but
feel
also,
that.
Also, when you're angry, you know, like when you're in that moment of anger, I think you have some like fucked up thoughts, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so
thoughts that you wouldn't normally think or act on.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why like acting out of anger is never a good idea.
Yeah.
Because there are things that you don't intend. It's just your mind just kind of like it's like a committed step, you know. Like you shake a soda bottle and you uncap it, then there's no going back. It's just gonna all shoot out, you know, and you can't stop that. And it's just some type of spontaneous reaction. Whereas like, I think as human, that's what adds to our intelligence is our ability to control our emotions. So
I asked this though because I feel like I'm at that point. Like I feel like I haven't allowed like the darker side of me to come out, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but also like I feel like I'm always trying to like, you know, bite my lip and not express myself in a more, I guess you could say, non-subtle tone or a way. And I feel like at a certain point, like right now, I'm at I don't know, like I can't explain what state I'm in, but it's just like I'm not happy, and I'm just, I guess you could say, angry.
What do you think would help?
Definitely hitting something.
Do you think? Because I've had this question with suicide, and it might be a tough topic, and I think I've mentioned this before, but do you think the people that are able to hold things in are better at holding in
the kitchen sink being thrown around up there?
Yeah, fucking thrown away or thrown around something. Do you think it has to boil down to impulse?
Say that again.
Like, because you get a lot of people that are extremely depressed and clinically depressed that will never kill themselves. But then you'll get people who go through a tough time in their life and they will kill themselves.
And that's based off impulse.
Do you think it's an impulse control? Like with what you're saying, that the monster's coming out, right? Do you think a lot of people don't let that out because they're less impulsive than other people?
I would think not, just because like I've been pretty depressed, but I've never thought of killing myself. Like it's never that I'm like controlling my thoughts or like suppressing that. Like it doesn't cross my mind as a solution.
And I say this because I saw a certain movie where a guy kills himself at the end of the movie, but he kills himself while he's under the influence of drugs. You know what I mean? Which you can say makes you more impulsive.
Yeah.
So that's why I struggle with that. Because I mean I'm not gonna say I haven't had those thoughts in my life, but I would never do that. You know?
Damn, that's a great question.
But I see what you mean. It's like, have you been vulnerable enough to give in to some dormant impulse?
That's such a good question.
Which I would love to talk to somebody about, because that has been on my mind for quite a while. Preferably like a psychologist or something. But
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a great question, man.
because then people who are angry, who blow up, you know what I mean?
Is it just impulse
Is that
issues?
just an impulse issue?
Mm-hmm.
Because we all feel all feel anger. Right?
Yeah.
But a lot of us can, I guess, channel it better, quote unquote. Because I'm not saying anger is a bad emotion, because I feel like anger is needed.
Yeah.
You know, and
I mean, you can look at the protests today.
yeah, and it drives
That's anger right there.
Yeah, it drives a lot of. It's a driving force, definitely, when people are angry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you make someone angry, that's a statement in itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that they feel a certain way, where they need to be not just physically violent, but mentally and, emotionally. So I'm not saying it's always a bad thing. But this is it boiled down to impulse at the end of the day. I don't know. I wish I had the answer.
You know what I've come to realize is that there's so many variables in everything.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think to like answer that, which is probably what I'll look into later, but how impulse is created and how we process it, and if there's a way to control, or because impulse is always known, it's impulsive, so there's no control, but maybe there is some type of control.
So I would think it's
because there are people who are more impulsive than others.
Yeah, because if you look at addiction, that's impulse that's almost created, right? In a sense.
Like no one's born a heroin addict.
Yeah.
Well, actually not true.
Well,
not every heroin addict was born a heroin addict.
So that's you start to condition yourself to be impulsive.
Yeah.
With drug addiction in a sense.
But is that impulse or is that more of a habit? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
This
know
is
either.
definitely this is a question for a psychologist and a neurologist.
Yeah. Quick. Be a brain surgeon.
even then, man,
Change your major.
when it comes to psychology, I feel like you can go to one psychologist and have an experience, and then you could go to another psychologist and have a completely different, because just the way they look at things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Watching that show just really like brought me back to my my curiosity for the human brain and psychology, and how we think. 'Cause I believe it's true, man. I believe we all have something, like much evil inside of us.
Untapped aggression. I would
that we lock away, and man, it's such a good show.
Do you think we've been forced to keep that away now? Because if you look back at just like civilization in wartime, you'd have people that are
savages.
You would deem savage now,
Yeah,
right? But if you go back to that time,
or if you look at the Romans, it was a game for them to put guys in an arena and fight.
I'm kind of curious to also see what if hormones have some type. Well, I think they have some type of involvement, but I'm curious to see hormone levels back then to what they are now, and what it was that I don't know. There's something is there something that caused the deficit? Because I would say we're less. I mean, just the idea we're all less aggressive than what. That's what comes to my mind, is that we're less aggressive than any of our past ancestors. So maybe that's some type of involvement as well.
You think that might have to do with
if that ties in, because
moving around? Doesn't exercise increase testosterone?
Yes. I think it's accumulated in different ways, but
isn't that one a major?
But one way, is activity.
Do you think we're just less active now?
I mean, we are.
Yeah.
You think that could be why?
Yeah.
Could
Most
be
people
a
would think.
factor.
Most people would think lifting depletes your testosterone, but while you lift, you're kind of increasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be
Or
mainly a
exercise in
cultural
general.
thing. I think it'd be a cultural thing.
It could also be things we're consuming.
That too.
Yeah.
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 Do you? This is like really off track. You know how like, do you know how they fill like fucking cows with steroids and shit, and meat is like all fucking weird with or hormones? Does that really attribute to girls now looking older than what they should?
No, I think. Oh, for
is that
for females?
Is that a weird question
for females? Yeah. So
fucking weird question. Where did that come from?
No, how does your mind work, Andy?
No. Okay, let me explain. Okay,
no,
explain.
Fuck that. Let's hear your childhood story. Because I don't know where the fuck this is coming from.
Let me fucking explain. Okay, because my mom. This doesn't make it any better.
Let me explain. My mom.
She always. I mean, she would say that. This is why girls
it's
like
hormone
physically
levels.
are looking
This is why you have boobs.
More. They look like women.
Yeah, they're looking more like women.
Yeah.
I want to know where your mom found that.
So you're saying it's involved with
Is that
like how
involved?
they age?
Yeah,
Like hormones is like speeding up
puberty,
puberty.
their age or puberty, and
Yeah. So I think
Save
the
myself.
way it works
Maybe.
the way it works for females is they're kind of like, it's like, think of it as like their hormones or like their cycles like trying to sync up, and like it's like because there's several things like LH and FSH, follicle follicle stimulating hormone. I think people have heard. The names are not important.
How much we've missed you, Daniel.
But the way it works.
okay, wait. Before you start, was my question a valid question?
I think yeah. I think it's a valid question, and I think it is.
Andy's over here like I'm fucking stupid.
He's about to get on a list.
I don't
and
want
he's
to.
where he's about to get up on a list.
Like I'm genuinely
It is involved.
curious because it might. Because like if I look at like dudes, like I don't. There's not.
Dudes tend to maintain their youth longer or look.
There's not a
have
rapid
the
change.
appearance.
I feel like there's not a rapid change in us.
Like guys are looking older, younger.
Yeah.
How
No,
do you
you don't
see it
get
on the
that.
other
I think
side?
yeah. I think males tend to maintain more of a youthful look longer than females.
Dude,
I
I've
think the
been
question
saying
is-
this for
You know, my mom has actually always told
Since
me
the beginning of this podcast.
My mom has always told me always look for a younger girl, because if you like someone young, it's an Egyptian culture. Like
it's natural.
yeah, it's natural because like my mom and dad aren't like too different. They're like 5 years apart. But I know like getting with a male that's 10 years older than you is like
normal.
That's like a couple of my cousins have done it, but that's something that it's because they're aware of like
Your cousins have done it.
I have my cousin and her husband are 10 years apart.
That
I'm gonna go pee.
joke
Hold
right
on.
over.
Oh. I do have to pee. I didn't know we could pee during this.
I
though.
know. I've been holding this piss for like 30 minutes.
I've been kind of having to pee since we started, but
You always have to fucking pee.
yeah, it's fine.
To answer Andy's question, yes, I do think it's involved, and it is a valid
with our
question.
food.
What, do you also think that like maybe it's just like just generations are just getting better looking?
I think
It could be that.
Yeah.
I think that's also a factor as well, because people are learning how to maintain their youthful look as well.
Yeah.
Versus,
I think I feel like as a species, this might be insensitive to say, but I feel like as a species, we're generally looking more and more attractive. Because I've seen pictures of like what Cleopatra looked back then.
Yeah, dude.
She
and
was
I think
not a...
we're
By
used-
today's definition, she was not a very pretty woman.
She was a solid 4.
Our idea of attractiveness is also changing, because
too.
we
That
learned
is
that
true.
people typically have been attracted to like the symmetrical look, but now we're I don't know.
It's a very
I've actually
cultural
realized,
based thing.
I've realized that people actually like
I'm going
people.
pee.
You don't want your hair, for example, your hair. I learned that you don't want your hair to be too perfect, or it doesn't look good. It looks too bold. But like having like sort of like a messy look, it's just an example. It looks more attractive. Or
one example is like, at least for me personally, I like when there's like a mole on one side. Like that is a attractive feature.
I feel like a lot of us are moving towards away from symmetry kind of thing.
Or it could have just been, they could have just been full of shit to begin with when they were saying that
Yeah.
it was based on symmetry.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and my reason for if it is real, my reason for it is like social media, and people are all shapes and sizes, and they're inspiring other people to want to look like them, or but yes, Andy, to answer your question, it is a valid question, and I do think it is hormones. What's that?
No, because I was gonna explain my thought process on how I got to it. Sorry for the voice crack.
I need to take a pee
You
break.
were
after this.
talking about hormones, and then I just
remember that conversation with your mom.
But you're asking, do women age faster?
Because of hormones.
I believe so.
Because of the hormones in meat and all that.
Oh, I don't know if it's from the food we're consuming. I just think females tend to. What is the age expectancy? I wish we had like someone to like look up stuff.
Like Jamie.
Age expectancy of what?
What is
The
is there
average
is
is-
there
is longer.
Is there a difference between age expectancy or mortality rate between females and males?
Yes.
Is there?
Yes. I know this. Women
are living longer or shorter?
Longer.
Longer?
On average, they have a longer lifespan than males.
I think the change in appearance is definitely due to hormones.
But a big factor to remember, though, is that males tend to be more violent. And
I think that,
the far majority of those who are criminals, victims of crimes, fighting wars, are males.
Males are more prone to, I think, what is it, heart disease? I think, and that's because of testosterone. Like testosterone is a factor involved in that. That's why males are more prone.
And also crazy women.
Crazy women.
Why is it a factor?
I think it is a factor.
Oh.
I'm not 100% sure.
All right, let the doctor leave and go piss while we say things
How are you gonna,
that we don't know.
you can't do a 2-hour podcast. How are you gonna do an 8-hour surgery?
It's because we're drinking that thing.
You're not gonna get drunk before you do a surgery.
It's not
How you
even
gonna
finished.
have
It's not-
steady hands?
It's like more than halfway full. What do you mean drinking that thing?
Hey, bring me another one. Should have grabbed one while I was up
Fuck,
there.
me too. God damn it.
Is there more left?
Yeah, I'm home, baby.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'll fucking just go that way
I
and
don't know.
sleep.
I just feel like comfortable, man. Like I feel like I could be here all night.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. I still feel like I'm like a guest somewhere.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like mine.
I can't wait till you guys like start getting more things and we can like chill on the couch
Yeah.
or chill on the front porch.
Yes.
Dude, I look forward to smoking some hookah.
Dude, same, man.
I'm looking forward to completing this room.
That too.
Making everything look nice, like all the computers. And
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if a couch will work there. Jalen was saying a couch.
We might not have enough room.
Yeah, no.
But, yeah, I don't know. Looking forward to raging.
To rage.
Having a new game come out. Like, fucking dungeon now. Everyone, dungeon now.
We're gonna have some LAN parties down here.
Is that the name of the studio now? The
I guess it's the dungeon, man.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty fitting. The dungeon. Meet me down in the dungeon.
Yeah.
Saturday night, 6 p.m. sharp.
All right.
Love it.
Daniel Dotson was saying it's like a fucking prison. Like a prison cell. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's like one little window.
Yeah. It's a weird room.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it could be a bedroom if you wanted it to.
It could
Right?
be. I
It's
think
weird that there's no vent
yeah.
in here.
There's no restroom to match this room.
Yeah. So it could. That's why I say it could be anything you really want it to be.
It was a pleasant surprise when we came to see the place because they're like, "Oh, it's a 3-bedroom," and then we show up. And she's like, "Well, there's actually a bonus room." It's like, bonus room, you say?
You said what?
Interesting. Yeah.
You said bonus?
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah. That was one of the driving factors of why we wanted it.
You brought one?
Dang.
There was no more spicy ones?
I didn't see any.
Damn, Daniel.
Damn, Daniel.
Might be.
I've never had an 805.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan. I'm a
Yeah,
big
the can
fan.
wasn't too bad. I thought it would be worse.
The cans? Yeah, cans tend to be worse than the bottled alternative.
Bottles
You
always
know what's
taste
funny
better.
to me? This used to be hoppy.
Yeah, now it's pretty tame.
Now
huh?
it's just like a regular beer.
And then you drink like a Budweiser or like a Bud Light, and you're like, oh my
What
god.
the fuck is this?
It's like a.
I gotta be honest, the spicy one was good.
You liked it?
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Is that bitter to you? Like, is it?
I drink whiskey straight, bro. This ain't bitter at all.
Well, that's a better word. Hoppy. I don't know if you know
Hoppy.
what hoppy would.
I don't know.
To
Would
be
you-
honest, I'm not a beer guy.
That's why I didn't.
Would
Would you
just
say
been dabbling
whiskey's
back in.
bitter? I don't know if I would say whiskey's bitter.
You're like, it's got a bite to it.
But what is that? It's weird.
Spicy?
It stings.
I don't even know.
Spicy.
What is the word bitter actually?
What is bitter? I could like imagine it, but I can't explain it.
You know what? I've been calling whiskey bitter this whole time. I don't even know the meaning.
I don't think whiskey's.
I'm a piece of shit.
I wouldn't say it's
I wouldn't say
bitter.
bitter, no. I wouldn't
Bitter,
say-
like I think
It's
of
like-
bitter.
Like bitter is kind of like a sour taste, or along
I
those
wouldn't
lines.
describe
Sour.
it.
Not sour,
When
but
I-
it's closer.
When I hear bitter, I just think gray.
Gray.
I think the
I
same
just
thing
think
too.
Ray.
I think. What do I think?
I think
Am
of
I
the
a bitter-
hoppiness.
Am I a bitter person? Because all I wear is fucking gray. Like, whenever I go out, I try to wear something like colorful, like blue or red.
when I
or
think
some
of
shit,
bitter,
but
I think of,
I wear gray like 90% of my life.
When I think of bitter, I think of my ex-girlfriend. I'm kidding.
Damn.
I would say I would define bitter the hoppy taste.
That's
Whoa.
gonna be the short clip for this week.
Whoa.
Oh, God, no, please.
Yes. Yes.
Don't worry, Andy. I'll post it.
Whoa.
I would say the hoppy flavor is bitter.
Yeah,
Right.
but like I don't know how to describe it, dude. It's like trying to describe a color. Because at the same
Yeah,
time, I
I
can't
do.
describe sweet, really.
Yeah,
Sweet.
It's
that's
like,
a good point. Yeah,
Sweet is like a lollipop.
What does that mean? Imagine I've never tasted anything sweet.
You just
It's just good.
put in your mouth.
Just put it in your mouth.
Sweet is
Sweet is.
yeah, you can't. It's like it is like color. You can't describe anything. You can't describe a color. It's like blue.
They're just
The sky.
They're just like I said. There are ways of things we've made easy for us to understand. Just like naming the colors, like they're not. They're just all words, you know. Just like time or
They're just labels.
yeah, labels. They're just ways. That's how we've made sense of things.
Very strange.
Bitter, I don't. In my opinion, bitter is like a hoppy taste, but
Yeah.
that's what I like. Something that kind of.
I almost want to say like dry.
I don't know, but it's good.
You like it?
Yeah,
805.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
I've kind of just been dabbling back in with the beer again.
Oh yeah. In terms of what's changed, you guys mentioned it, but I don't know if I want to go into specializing in anything.
Okay.
I realize. I
Oh,
don't
like
know-
for your career?
I don't know. I've been talking to a lot of doctors, and they just say specializing. Most people that specialize, they're just unhappy with their lives.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. I honestly, I'd have to. I think it's just the workload that they have to bear. Because I talked to a couple people, and they told me, "Oh, don't specialize. You know, if you can." They're like, I've shadowed ER doctors, and they seem to be happy. So maybe. But
They seem to be happy.
I realized I kind of want to take a political sense with my
More like legislative.
with my science
or-
background. Like I would like to be an ER doctor simultaneously, but I also kind of want to do something along the lines with, you know, maybe creating a cure or like something with public health for sure. That's always always what I've wanted to do is some type of outreach, go to third world countries and make sure their healthcare is like fair
I felt
and
that way
just.
too. I felt that way because politics does light like a fire in me. I do want to learn certain ins and out of it, but I was thinking of a way of like combining that with writing or like pictures too, taking pictures. So I don't know, because I know I don't want to be a politician.
I think it's already too late for you, dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't ever, unless it was like on a local level.
You're already on this show, dude. It's too late.
Who knows?
I'm gonna make my own political party right now. Okay,
What's it gonna be called?
gotta think about it. But you could do whatever the fuck you want.
805.
805.
It's kind of like like the best religion out there.
Properly chill.
You know?
Properly chill.
Just do whatever you want. Just don't
Good
be.
times, cold beer. That is the basis of Andy's political party.
Do whatever you want. Just don't be a dick. You know?
Yeah.
All jokes are welcome. You make fun of anything.
Speaking of 805, did you guys watch Dave Chappelle's 846 video?
Oh, I watched it this morning.
Really good.
Powerful video.
Mhm.
Really good.
Really
I
good
have to
video,
watch
man. Yeah,
Really good.
really good.
I've
But
honestly,
there's nothing. There's like probably 2 moments that are funny, but it's just a very serious video
Mm.
of him speaking about his perspective on everything going on.
Interesting.
Great video.
Yeah.
I have to watch that.
And I respect it. I respect his view or his action,
Yeah.
even though he's, staying silent.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know, like he is the people that are being directly affected, and by that I mean he's black. But it's like I feel like any kind of celebrity is just detached from the actual world, and he says that he's like the streets are taking care of it. He's like they will take care of it, and I trust them. I'm not saying anything to influence anybody or to sway anybody or just to speak out on it. And I feel like that's what it is. Like it's come to the point where now, when celebrities speak on things, it's not because it's 90% of the time it's not because they're directly affected by it. It's wrong. Like
Mm-hmm.
but it's like I think it's time now for like people, like the everyday person.
Or
And
like,
it's
like
not-
he said, what the fuck do I give a shit what Dave Chappelle says
Yeah.
about this situation?
Yeah.
Right? Like, people are angry already just from watching that video. Like, why do I need to know what Dave Chappelle thinks?
yeah.
Even though, like, he gave a great perspective on it, it's like, I don't give a shit. Like, you can watch that and be angry without Dave Chappelle's opinion.
What I thought the angle was going to be was that his set was going to be the amount of time that the officer had his knee on the neck.
Mhm.
That's what I thought it was going to be at first, because
Yeah.
the thumbnail is like 8:46, right?
Yeah.
But he,
It was a 27-minute video.
yeah, but it was so it was weird. It's really weird, like that the amount of time that the officer had his knee on his neck was the time that Dave Chappelle was born.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was AM or PM, but and then he said he had not something else related to
the day that he won a Grammy, he went to the Grammys, or he didn't go to the Grammys because it was the same. What was it that he? Oh, it was the Grammys. That's when Kobe Bryant had died, and they had his number 8 and 24 up at the Grammys, and that was I think the day that he was born.
Was it the day he was born?
Yeah.
It might have been. Yeah, it was like really weird. It was like
Yeah.
All
It was really, really
all
like connected
very
to him. Like,
all
what the
very
hell?
convenient,
Yeah.
incidental.
Yeah. But
So-
he just gave a great perspective.
Yeah.
Because it's like, he talked about like Chris Dorner when he killed those 4 cops.
Mm.
He's like, he was he served in the military. He was a police officer who did exactly what we're talking about today. About, he saw that his female partner had attacked someone that was, already detained. Like she had kicked him or some shit, and officially reported it. And then he was like basically outed by the police department. And then he ended up, shooting those 4 cops. And then up in Big Bear, when they had like 400 people or 400 police officers like there to like massacre him.
Yeah.
That happened. And then the 9 police officers that were killed in Texas was also by a black American that was also in our military. And he said, what they were trained to do is to fight against terrorism. And that's what they are fighting against. That's what those guys were fighting against. It was just an interesting kind of thing,
Yeah.
It's like,
That is for sure interesting.
it's some great points that he brought up.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a good video.
Yeah, it was a good video. It's
I
funny
would
'cause-
show you, but you don't have internet, so.
It's funny because when you hear the Dave Chappelle's voice, like I associate his voice with humor. So when he was being serious, I was just like kind of like, it might have been because he was a comedian too, but I was just like waiting for maybe like funny points. but like they didn't
Like a
come.
punchline.
Yeah, but I was like, holy shit.
I felt the same way in one of his specials where he's at the nightclub. You know, when he's chilling on the stool. You know, he was giving some like real shit in that special.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot of like funny points to it, like it was a comedy at that point, but he was talking about real shit. You know, and it just was real weird, like you said, with his voice and him just being serious and giving like, you know, real perspective. And it was just, yeah.
You know, because just being like a huge fan of the Chappelle Show and just like his voice is just like, you know, he's imitating, he's doing impressions and his voice is just funny. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? What's going on here? This dude's spitting truths, but I'm waiting for a punchline or something, you know. So yeah, I definitely watch it
For sure.
And he said it was like the first
concert
since what?
since this pandemic started.
Since the pandemic started?
Yeah, it wasn't really a concert, you know. Like he had it set up where the stage, and then like there's 2 seats next to each other, and then they were separated by another 2 seats, and that's how he did it. You know, like everyone was separated, everyone was given a mask that was given to them when they walked in the show. You know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird fucking times we're living in.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to make sense of it.
What's going to be interesting for us is when we're older and we have children and they learn about this time in history, what perspective is going to be given to them, you know?
I'm just going to be like, well, let me tell you what the fuck I lived through, okay? I don't even know. I don't even know if I'll have kids. I see too many I want to punch.
Oh my god.
Oh, man. You got to be careful with him, bro. There's a lot of kids running around this place.
Yeah.
You guys might get kicked out pretty quick.
It's going to be like,
when you're riding by on your motorcycle.
you better not tell your fucking parents. I'll fucking come back and kick you again. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
We're going to hell.
Yeah, it's okay. Probably have more fun there anyways.
I'll see you there, buddy.
You can't imagine the idea of having a kid at this stage in my life.
Me neither.
I have a cat. It's like fucking a hassle.
That's something that Jordan Peterson talks about in his book, 12 Rules to Life, is that I think one of the rules is raise your children to be someone that you like. Because a lot of people raise their children and they don't like their children.
That's
right?
crazy to think.
And that's
weird.
a real thing. You know, like, and then you got to question, like, how many, like, parents don't like their children?
Yeah.
You said raise them to be like someone that you like.
Yeah.
Be someone you want to hang out with.
I think that's one of the rules. I think it's like rule 8 or 9.
Make your kid a dope ass kid. That's what you gotta do.
Is that being selfish? Raising a kid so you like them?
Maybe.
Man, I think that's important, though.
I think we associate selfishness with a bad term, but I think selfishness could be good and like it carries both sides.
I think
of
that's
it.
kind of selfish. I would want, you know, because I would hate if I raised my kid and I did not like him. Like every time he spoke, I'm just like, shut the fuck up, dude. Let's get through this Christmas just fine, all right? Just shut the fuck up.
God, you're so
Let's smile for these pictures. Let's fucking open the gifts, and then you can get the fuck out of here.
Who fucking raised you to be such a pussy?
Like, imagine if you wanted to kick your kid every time you saw him.
Better have his defenses up. I'll tell you that.
You're going to let out years of anger towards kids?
Oh, my son, there comes a time in every son's life where they got to take kicks from their father.
Dude, what about that? What if you have a kid, right? And then he gets to that age where he's ready to beat your ass.
Squaring up.
That's when
You raise your kids to take you down.
that's when I grab those hidden nunchucks. I'm like, dude, you gonna block these, huh? That bamboo stick.
Black tees.
At a certain point, when I'm 60, I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna be who I was. I gotta rely on weapons, right?
Yeah, true.
It's the
It's just
equalizer, bro.
It's the name of the game, man.
Dude.
Yeah. Catch this bullet.
Let me just say, if I'm 60 and my son wants to beat my ass at 60, dude,
You did something wrong.
I'm kicking that little fucker square in the dick, dude. Like you want to beat me up when I'm an old man? You're getting right in the dick, dude.
Yeah. When I'm 16, if they kick me in the dick, it won't even matter. I'm shooting blanks anyway. Okay?
God. So Daniel, I have to ask: is this your coming back kind of episode, or you're just came
question.
back for this episode?
No, he's not coming back.
No, I'm coming back. But I don't know if I'm.
Will we see you next week?
No, not next week. But maybe the weekend after that. It's kind of tough to make that effort from Sandy. I don't know.
Hey, dude, Alyssa was seriously gunning for your spot.
She did a good job. She did a great job. I think, well, part of it, I don't know, with the podcast, I felt, to be honest, I felt like kind of like it was more of a, it didn't feel like something like a hobby or something fun, or it just felt like I was kind of like I'm forcing myself to kind of do it. You know, I did like being here, but there were times where like, man, I'm tired. I'm tired. I cannot make it out here. And I'm like, it kind of got watered down on me. Like I like being here with you guys, but there are times where just like I'm not like feeling it or anything like that. So it's not necessary. That's why it's kind of hard to be consistent. But I'm not gonna take a sabbatical like I did. That was way too long. I don't know. Maybe we could arrange something where.
Do you think it's the drive that's wearing you down? Like just having to drive so far?
Part of it is there's times where I'm not ready to speak my thoughts because they're raw, you know, they're not solidified or anything like that. So I'll like end up saying something like that I don't really believe, you know, and that's just like stapled as my opinion. I mean, that's what the cool thing about this is, you get to see yourself grow. But the fact that the one thing I just don't like about it is there are things I say but are not how I intended them at all to be, or like it'll be completely wrong. I don't know. I felt like that's kind of like the pressure to create good content. That's also the thing, because I don't know. I think maybe I just beat it. Like I don't know. I overthink it, you know, instead of being something like making it something casual. Like I took it like, all right, I made it more of like a work thing than I did as something like, oh, let's just hang out and talk type of thing. And I think that's what kind of made it kind of harder for me to show up here.
Well, do you guys feel pressure to make good content?
I do not whatsoever.
Me neither.
Yeah.
This is literally, it feels just like we're hanging out.
That's that. I don't know. I didn't have that feeling, you know. That's kind of, and that's what kind of made it hard to like, or that's why I felt like it wasn't very sustainable. I also didn't want to disappoint you guys. There's a lot of things.
Too late.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean disappoint us?
I don't know. I feel like I let you guys down, or like oh guys, I can't make it this weekend. You know, then that's gonna have to like push something, or you know, or it's that kind of.
Do you think you'll be consistent at any point in the future?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, because I want to, with like vocalizing. I want to get strong at vocalizing, like being able to vocalize my opinion. And it's like not mindful at all for me to say like, I'm scared of what I might say incorrectly.
You know, I had a moment like that when we were at Huntington Beach last week when that lady came up and talked to us. what came into my head is like, what am I willing to say right now that I'm willing to say, like in front of, you know, the internet? You know, like if I was sitting down in the podcast, what would I be willing to say about this current situation? And, you know, I feel like I said everything that I would say here, you know? So I feel like this podcast and, you know, putting ourselves on the internet really has like opened my mind to be like mindful of the things I say and, you know, not filter what I say, but, you know, just be aware of it, you know?
Yeah, I wanna learn to be. I wanna become well spoken. But one, like, this is all like I'm not used to sharing like thoughts like this to anybody in like public, and like we would do it whenever like we didn't do it. We didn't share our thoughts as often as we should have before this, before the podcast. Like we didn't have a circle for a while.
We fell off the wagon. Yeah,
and then to like going on here and then sharing our thoughts, that's like a big change. You know, I'm introverted in many ways, and I do show extroverted characteristics. But like that took like a lot of courage, you know, to say that. I don't know, and I'm not like prideful to say like, oh, we have a podcast. I want to feel prideful, you know. I want to be like, we get like, go listen, you know. And that's something I just haven't, like, I'm scared to be transparent for some reason. Like I don't want to tell people because I don't want them to listen to me, you know. Like, don't listen to my thoughts or don't listen to my opinions. So I don't, like, that's something I have to learn and get over.
I feel the same way, but I think it just boils down to me caring what people think.
Yeah.
Which I've had a problem with that. I still do. You know what I mean? Which is why, like, I want to be well spoken and say the right things and not say the wrong things. But, you know, listening back to podcasts, I've noticed that the things that I've said before aren't really how I feel now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I've said things in the time that I've thought was right, but they aren't.
Yeah.
But I think that's it's an attribute, you know what I mean, to be able to do that, to be able to understand that I felt this way before, but I don't feel this way now anymore because I've, you know, deep dived into it and I know these points and certain things. But I think it's also should be on people as well to realize that what I say in this podcast isn't
it's
always
not solidified,
cemented. You know what I mean? I will maybe or 100% change my stance on things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that doesn't, you know, that doesn't have to do with flip-flopping or, you know what I mean, just saying things to make people happy. It's just, you know, it's just the person that I am now. I'm not going to say the same things now that I am in 10 years, you know what I mean? That's just what it is, you know? Yeah. I'm still learning to come to terms with that, you know? We're just like, telling people to have a podcast and, you know, and I feel like, well, who am I to listen? Who am I for you to listen to? You know what I mean? Yeah. But, you know, it's, at the same time, you know,
I think for the time being, well, I mean, I would be consistent if I lived here. Because then I would have no, like you guys are like right here, or I would just go to your house and that's it, you know. That there's some flexibility. But like with like living away and at the same time like trying to manage time slots between all of us, like mine is like I would have to like drive here to record, and then I don't know if like I can't like make every Saturday free, you know. Whereas here you do a couple, like do it real quick and then get on with your day because you're in the area. Whereas like I wouldn't be able to do that.
It's been nice doing it on Friday nights.
Dude, I want to do it at night. I want to do it at night because it's just so I can't say anything in the morning.
Have a fucking beer, have a whiskey, you know.
That's
you're woken up. Like when we were doing it in the morning, dude, it was hard. I would wake up 30 minutes before you guys showed up. Dude, my brain was not working.
Dude, it was a pain in the ass. I would be so fucking tired from the night before, and then just like head over super early morning, groggy, and then you're at the same time you're not primed to like say anything. You're not like warmed up, or even if we did talk a little bit before, we're not warmed up. I am ending my lease in August, as far as I know. I'm not going to live in... The thing is, if I don't get accepted anywhere, the only reason I say there's more of a chance of ending my lease in August and moving here is because that's what I'm banking on. Is that I'm gonna go somewhere, either for a master's program or an MD program. But the thing is, if I didn't get anywhere, I don't know what I would do. I would see. I don't know. I would be on my own. I don't know if I would stay in San Diego or not. So, I don't know.
Guess we'll see.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Play it by ear.
Do you want to move back here?
I want to move back here, but not with my parents. Yeah, and I would have moved in with you guys, but I don't know what's gonna happen.
Where are you gonna go to school?
Yeah, because if I get accepted, if the only school I get accepted to is in fucking Michigan, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going. I'm taking it. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
cold in Michigan.
Yeah, that's how desperate I want to go back to school. Is I'm gonna take anything that I can get. So, I like learning. I like school. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't want to wait to go to med school just to see if it might not even work out. That's the thing, you know. So I'd rather go for the master's program. So we'll see. I don't know. I liked living with my parents. It was nice, free food. Free food. But I'll tell you what, driving to work every day was a pain in the ass.
Where did you go to work? Where do you go to work?
Temecula.
This far, dude.
Every day?
Every day.
My God,
I would wake up that's why also I was kind of quiet, is I would work very early in the morning and then just like chill in the afternoon with whatever. I would wake up at 4 a.m., head to work. I ran into Philip one morning.
Yeah, he told us.
In the gas station. But I was doing that for the past 2 months.
I was like, guess what piece of shit I saw?
I would wake up and then sometimes I wouldn't even get home until, I don't know. With this job, I'm trying to leave this job too, because yeah, it's nice and good experience, but they work your ass off and they're not compliant with labor laws, dude. No, it's not that. It's not that. It's my fault.
You should call OSHA on them.
You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, because you need to get your shit done. And if you can't get it done in the time, then you would work overtime and everyone gets mad at you for working overtime. So like, if you tell your boss, like, I don't even say anything anymore. Like, oh, I came in at this time, but I actually came in at that time. So I don't know how you handle that.
Wait. You're like,
I would tell him I'll come in. I came in at 8, but I came at like 5. 5 a.m.
Whoa. So wait, were you not getting paid for your overtime?
I don't report it.
You're fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, I don't report it.
Any
I wouldn't
second
do
I
that.
spend longer at work, you best believe I'm getting paid for it.
Yeah, I stopped taking overtime because my manager was like getting like upset.
Well, you tell your manager to go fuck themselves. You're gonna pay me for it.
Yeah, so
Especially if they expect it of you to get your work done.
yeah, no, because like the thing is,
Daniel, this
Yeah.
is where you gotta
Nice,
be
man.
selfish, bro.
yeah, the thing is, there is a lot of things that don't work out in science, and so as a big company, like they're expecting things to go right. So to
Put some
do,
WD-40 on that door
I know, right?
or spit
I'm
on it.
going to be leaving soon though. I hope. I'm not staying there. I realize not to. I don't know. I've been talking to a couple people. Like there are some people who are like close to my age. I'm like, why are you still here? Get the fuck out.
Run
for yourself.
Run, don't look
Do you
back.
want to stay here and get stuck here? Because there's no growth here. You're not going anywhere. Like literally, there are people who just like.
Daniel, be subtle.
I'm trying to leave, and I feel like I'm getting stuck there. But I'm trying more than they are. So, nah, I do not want to get stuck there. Yeah.
Interesting.
Why don't you just find like someplace closer?
Yeah, why don't you just sell yourself on the streets?
No, I could probably. Yeah, I could probably.
Yeah,
find
you're a
place that's
good-looking
closer.
dude, man.
I could probably find a place that's closer, but I've been waiting for that year, that 1 year mark. I'm almost coming. Yeah, I'm coming. That's what all this was for, is just to make the year productive and
Get some experience.
Yeah. Now I have no doubt that I'll find a job easier than I did the first time. So I just gotta look. But yeah, that's the plan, is to move back here. As sad as I am to leave my life in San Diego, that's what needs to happen for the next move. So I remember when I said I was going to live with my parents for 2 weeks, and I didn't end up leaving. And then I finally did it and enjoyed it.
Didn't you go back the next day?
I did go the
Fucking
next day.
liar.
Yeah.
That's what you are.
But I pussied out. But yeah, I think that's... I don't know. There's things that they're just changing too much.
Yeah.
So
We know you, Daniel.
I'm never set.
You say this now, but we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
But yeah,
In October, he's gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm down in San Diego."
Yeah.
Like, where are you living? I'm like, I don't know, just hopping around.
just trying to stick there.
Hey, Daniel, move back here.
I'll live in your closet.
No. Let's get a place together.
We could, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Or, fuck, we're in a year lease.
Yeah, no, it's just too soon for me to make any decision.
Nah, yeah, I understand.
So that I just made the decision, or I just assumed that I will be moving with my parents in August. So we will see.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll work itself out.
Yeah, you never know what the future will hold.
Yeah. I've just been realizing it's too dynamic. It's very unstable for to say anything. Because if I'm someone that's living without boundaries, kind of thing. Because if I'm ready to move to New York, then I don't even care. If I get fired, I'll find another job. If I'm not someone who's gonna stay in one place very long.
I feel.
We're at the point of the show where James is very quiet, so that means we're gonna wrap it up.
Oh my god.
Well, James is quiet. That means this fucking bitch is ending right here.
I didn't say anything.
That's what I mean.
I'd agree.
I don't know what to add.
Exactly.
Fucking useless at this point. Just sit there and smile, big boy.
I don't know what you want from me.
More, James.
Yeah, more. You haven't seen your friend Daniel in months.
I got my fill.
Sometimes. Yeah.
See you in a couple months.
Hey, it's not our fault.
I think this is a good point to wrap it up, though.
I agree.
I'll end with this, okay?
No.
That's fine. Life is crazy. Only thing that's consistent is change. We're all in a way different place than we were a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
Amen,
I imagine...
sister.
Huh?
Say amen, sister.
Yeah. And I imagine a year from now, we're going to be in an even different place. And we're going to look back and be like, how the fuck did we get here? I never thought I would be here. But that's just the name of the game, Try not to think too hard about it. Just keep going forward.
Yep. With that, I will say goodbye. Thank you for joining us. It was a whole lot of fun. What's the thing? Remember, only you can prevent forest fires. Don't let the man get you down. And we'll see you on the next one.
Revision. Me?
Whose episode is yours?
Yeah,
you already
next.
said bye. Whatever. Fuck it.
Once in, always in. Thanks for joining the circle. Bye.
All I gotta say is, Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Dory.
I love you, Daniel. Please come back next week.
I love you guys too.
Yeah, man.
What is next week?
Next week
what day
is next
the
week
after this one.
It's the 20th, I think. If we're talking about a Saturday.
we'll have internet.
We will have internet. A gig per second internet.
A gig per second internet. What is? Hold on 1 second. I'll say my goodbyes.
Oh, I'm not done yet.
Oh.
Yeah. Just keep swimming. See us on the next one, please. Okay, you can go now.
Daniel, leave us on a high, dude.
On a high.
Do you guys have a guest next week at all? Or no scheduled
dude.
guest?
We don't have shit.
Okay. I might be able to come on Saturday.
Don't make it work, dude. Make it fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't fall
Don't
into
force
those same-
yourself.
I realize that's something I need to work
Don't
on.
fall into those same patterns.
I'm very overcritical on certain things, or I overthink it a lot. Yeah, I'm kind of like, I think I relate with you in terms of overthinking. But anyways, it was good being back, good visiting you guys, recapping, even though there's probably more that could be said. One foot in front of the other. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.